Tens of thousands packed the MCG for Melbourne's biggest crowd test in 6 months. Plus, new travel rules as testing sites reach breaking point and 400 patients are given incorrect COVID results. Melburnians flock to major shopping centres in a $3 billion Boxing Day splurge. Hopes fade for a teenager feared drowned on the Murray River. The hunt for thieves who stole 5 training vehicles from Guide Dogs Victoria. And crews at risk of being turned back in the race from Sydney to Hobart.
Live from Melbourne, 7 News with Blake Johnson starts now.
Good evening. Melbourne has faced its first major crowd test in 6 months, with tens of thousands of fans packing the MCG for the start of the Boxing Day test. Cricket purists were greeted with modern-day health rules as Australia took a giant step towards retaining the Ashes. Paul Dowsley leads tonight's coverage.
The perfect late Christmas present for vaccinated cricket fans, streaming back into the MCG for the Boxing Day test. Checking in.
Thanks, sir.
And proving they were double jabbed.
What an exceptionally wonderful thing it is to have crowds back at the G.
There's no bigger day in cricket.
The priority for many was safety first.
The spread of Omicron, they can't be too safe.
A barbecue in the car park, part of the preparation.
You need a bit of food to line the stomach before you get in there and start chanting around.
And drinking?
And drinking, yeah, only on the soft drinks though.
Allegiances revealed on their shirts and their drink of choice too. Others' inspiration was more biblical.
We don't need any miracles because Australia, it's already in the bag.
Why do you want to dress up? Why do you want to get into a bit of a theme?
Just want to draw attention to yourself, don't you, really? At the end of the day, from a British perspective, the cricket's not much cop. We like looking like idiots, so we just put all this on together, yeah.
Masks required in the queues to get in and when inside, unless sitting down. But a few were still getting into the habit.
I left it on my seat.
Food and drink purchases all cashless. For some, the beers were a balancing act. For others, a disappearing act.
Because it is such a big venue, you're a lot more aware, everyone's got their masks back on.
Got the vaccination, got my mask when I need it when we're close, so all good.
Mate, it's bloody amazing. Heart's racing. It's good to be here.
The first wicket came quickly. Australia already leading the series 2-0. With hopes fading for the visitors.
What I know is they don't need to be quarantined because they can't catch anything.
What a difference a year and vaccinations make. Last Boxing Day the crowd was just 27,000. This is a return to one of the great traditions we love, Boxing Day cricket and beating England. A big target for this test.
200,000 through these gates, I think it'd be an amazing effort given the border issues, given the COVID issues.
Police were on patrol with proud convicts nearby. What would your advice be to England today?
There's a flight leaving Melbourne Airport at about 3:30.
Bat better, bowl better, feel better.
See ball, hit ball. Simple as that.
Just hit the damn ball.
God save our gracious team.
A bruised England left chewing over their mistakes and how to fix them. And a pumped Aussie crowd hoping for a 5-0 clean sweep.
And Paul, police had to deal with some unruly behaviour.
All up, Blake, 55 fans ejected, including for smuggling in alcohol, assault, and there was a pitch invader who was pulled to the ground by security. He will cop a fine of close to $10,000. And there was one arrest, a man for drunk and disorderly and resisting arrest and then assaulting police. The crowd all up today, 57,100, the biggest we've seen here at the G since Anzac Day. And when you compare today's 57 or so thousand to the last time we saw Australia and England at the Boxing Day test here at the G 4 years ago, that crowd, Blake, was 88,000 before COVID.
All right, Paul Dowsley outside the MCG. Testing site chaos across Melbourne has forced a rethink on travel rules as health bosses fear everyone will soon be exposed to the Omicron variant. It comes as 400 patients were wrongly sent a text telling them they were negative when they'd actually returned a positive result.
COVID testing delays are blowing out, some waiting up to 4 days for a result from Foresight Pathology, spoiling Christmas holidays for thousands of Victorians unable to travel or even leave home without a negative result.
I got tested exactly 72 hours ago and I haven't received my results yet. I can't even tell you what my stress levels are right now. They're through the roof. I've been in tears this morning.
One of our pathology providers who has labs interstate, they're taking a bit longer to get their test results turned around at this point in time, and we're working with them to see what we can do.
That delay meant Frazi Obero's young family couldn't be together on Christmas Day.
My son was crying because he couldn't see his sister, so obviously the whole Christmas was ruined.
Victoria bucked the national trend with a drop in new cases, 1,608. Only 1.7% of our cases are believed to be Omicron. But as of this weekend, health authorities here have stopped screening for it.
Now that we know that Omicron is established in our community, we don't need to keep doing more and more sampling of all those positive cases. We know Omicron's here, we know it will spread more easily, we know it's got a higher attack rate.
2 more deaths have been reported in Victoria. 374 are now in hospital, an increase of 13. More than 17,000 are isolating, and a massive 70,000 took a Christmas Day swab. Testing lines stretched for hundreds of metres at clinics today. Dozens were closed. Others reported wait times of up to 4 hours.
We've got some very long queues and very busy testing stations at the showgrounds, at Brighton Golf Club and at Sandringham Hospital. But equally, we've got 10 sites where there are queues shorter than 60 minutes.
Around the nation, cases are soaring. Another record daily high in New South Wales, over 6,300 cases, coupled with a big jump in hospital numbers to 458.
Bottom line here is that we would expect that pretty well everybody in New South Wales at some point will get Omicron. We're all going to get Omicron.
The speed of that spread not helped by a massive blunder. 400 New South Wales patients sent a text saying they were COVID negative when in fact they were positive and released from isolation just in time for Christmas dinner.
We sincerely apologise for the mistake that has been made. Thank you.
Their officials now urging only sick people to get tested and calling on premiers to rethink travel requirements.
Number one, as Health Minister, I certainly send again a message to those states that getting PCR tests is putting an enormous pressure on our pathology system.
South Australia listened, announcing interstate arrivals no longer need to show a negative PCR test on arrival. It comes as the state's cases soared to 774, 80% of them Omicron, triggering new restrictions like a cap of 10 people at home gatherings. In Queensland, 714 new cases. In Tasmania, 44 new cases today. They only recorded their first case this week. And a COVID scare's thrown the Boxing Day races at Caulfield into chaos, with 12 jockeys ruled out last minute. They were deemed close contacts after 3 jockeys tested positive to COVID. And the federal government has announced an extra 800,000 booster doses are on their way to pharmacies and GP clinics to help the system cope with the changed ATAGI guidelines that now recommend boosters from just 4 months. While most major vaccination clinics are closed over the Christmas period, they are due to reopen from the 4th of January. Anyone who received their second dose before September is now eligible to make a booking. Blake?
Thanks, Christy. Christy Cooper in Glen Iris. The traditional frenzied rush for Boxing Day bargains was replaced by orderly queues this morning. And while the pandemic is changing the way Melburnians shop, we're still expected to splurge billions on post-Christmas sales.
Out before dawn to cash in on Boxing Day bargains.
I've always been excited about Boxing Day. It's my thing.
Some queued from 3:30 a.m.
You usually get here this early pretty much every year.
Others relishing a shopping tradition.
I started off with buying my Christmas decorations and all the 50% off stuff, and slowly just I just do it now out of habit. I don't even have anything to really buy.
Maya and David Jones rolling up the doors at 6 a.m. Inside, shoppers scrambling to find the best deals.
Thank you very much. So we've got a few pairs of shoes, some wind cheaters.
I've done a good shopping. I'm very happy.
Up to 50% off cookware, towels. We'll sell 120,000 towels today. 30% off ladies' shoes, 40% off men's shoes.
Crowds building at a slower pace than usual, ramping up around midday.
What we're doing is we're extending our trading hours now throughout Boxing Day so that customers can choose that time when it's appropriate for them.
Despite COVID hesitancy changing the way we shop, 150,000 people headed to the fashion capital.
There's no doubt it's a little bit softer with the pandemic versus 2019, but we're still expecting great numbers.
People are definitely a lot quicker when coming into stores. They kind of want to come in, get out.
$1.2 billion will be spent online.
Those online figures are about a 25% increase on last year's figures, and our in-store figures are about 5% up on last year.
Everyone's after the shoes today. Even the first Muse dresses, everyone's going for an outgoing kind of vibe.
Patience was tested at DFO Essendon with cars banking up outside, some opting to catch a minibus in instead. If you didn't get to the shops today, there's no need to worry, with the majority of these sales set to last all week, as Australians get set to spend more than $3 billion from Boxing Day through to the end of the year.
We're starting to see festivities again, events with family and friends, work events, going back into the office, and we know that that's led to increased spending in apparel figures, personal items, certainly shoes and jewellery.
And with many still digesting Christmas lunch, the major supermarkets are already stocking up for Easter, 111 days out from Good Friday. Sarah Jones, 7 News.
To breaking news, and Archbishop Desmond Tutu has died at the age of 90. The last surviving South African laureate of the Nobel Peace Prize passed away in Cape Town. Archbishop Tutu won the prize in 1984 for his role in the campaign to end apartheid. There's been a security scare at Windsor Palace where the Queen is spending Christmas. Police took down a man who made it inside the castle grounds armed with a weapon, possibly a crossbow. He was arrested before getting into any buildings. The 19-year-old was charged and the royal family informed of what happened. This year's royal Christmas celebrations have been scaled back because of the pandemic, as Charles and Camilla joined the Queen for lunch. Experts predict Australia should expect a royal tour next year, with Princes Charles and William likely to be busier than ever as Her Majesty ages.
It may be one of the defining images of the year, if not her reign, the widowed Queen alone.
And that would have been a huge, huge wrench, not only for Her Majesty, but for the rest of the family.
She was showing great leadership to the country and to the wider world, and how one has to make sacrifices. And I think that was a moment of deep sadness, but it was also a moment of leadership and something that she should be commended for.
A year of struggles for Her Majesty and her family. After celebrating the life of 99-year-old Prince Philip, the Queen's poor health saw her miss key engagements, reduced to receiving visitors at Windsor Castle, often on Zoom, as the royal soap opera took new turns. A year comparable to 1992, described by the monarch then as her annus horribilis.
This has been worse. You've had the Harry and Meghan saga rumbling on, the infighting between the senior royals, Prince Andrew's scandal rumbling on.
Unwanted headlines hanging over the family, led by the lawsuit facing the Duke of York and Harry and Meghan's interview with Oprah that brought accusations of racism. Diana's sons put their feud aside to unveil a statue of their mother. Barbados ditched the monarchy. A year when Princes Charles and William have been expected to step into the breach.
It's been a year which has been so topsy-turvy in so many ways, and I think that the Queen, the rest of the royal family will be looking forward to moving on into 2022.
With the prospect of open borders, royal tours should return, potentially to Australia. And there's the Queen's Platinum Jubilee, a celebration of her 70 years on the throne. Expect a very British party.
But it must be strange to a lot of people don't live for 70 years. She's commemorating 70 years in a role that's incredibly challenging and demanding.
The challenges will go on. Next month, a US court will decide whether the civil case against Prince Andrew will go to trial. He's facing accusations of rape.
Certainly people at the palace are very, very nervous as to how that will overshadow the potential celebrations of the Queen's Jubilee. I think first and foremost, we won't see Andrew at any of those celebrations. He has been banished from royal life.
Leaving a relatively small team to continue a centuries-old institution's work. In London, Hugh Whitfield, 7 News.
A COVID cloud hovers over the 76th Sydney-Hobart yacht race. Several boats failed to make the starting line, and with many crew members still waiting for test results, they've set sail at risk of being turned around.
On their marks on Sydney Harbour, sailors ready and raring.
Starting gun and away they go.
For the 76th Sydney Hobart.
What a sight. There's the 4 start lines. What a magnificent sight.
But before they could take part in the race, they were racing the clock to get COVID test results and be cleared to set sail.
It's 5 a.m. when I woke up and checked my phone. I was pretty excited.
The last result only just came in, so we're ready to go.
COVID gods have smiled on us.
But they weren't kind to everyone. COVID forcing 3 yachts out of the fleet, including 2019 Line Honours winner Jim Cooney and his Volvo 70 Willow. 3 of his 16 sailors testing positive.
The bigger question really was how many of our negatives are going to end up being positive by the time we get to Hobart.
With a slow test turnaround impacting a significant number of sailors, they'll be forced to abandon the race should a positive result come back midway.
Gets a positive test on board. The idea is they would retire.
Getting to the start line was only the first challenge. The second will be surviving tonight's southerly. Some skippers say it could force multiple retirements. Others believe it evens out the field, with this shaping up to be a thrilling journey to Hobart.
That means we're going to open it up to the whole fleet. You just could not pick who's going to win in this race this year.
So it may well be that the fast boats start to run out of breeze and the smaller boats come running up behind and the race will restart again.
But it was the Supermaxis speeding ahead early, with the drama starting soon after Scallywag beat the fleet out of the heads.
This doesn't look too good for Scallywag.
Battling a technical issue and losing its lead to Law Connect, a big boat that thrives in the big swell.
The first part of the race will fancy Law Connect in these heavier conditions. The transitions and the tricky conditions down the Tasmanian east coast that could come into play for blackjack. So I would not like to put any money on who's going to win this.
The long trek south now underway. Amber Laidler, 7 News.
Novak Djokovic has withdrawn from a key lead-up event in Sydney as doubts grow on him playing at next month's Australian Open. The world number one is yet to declare his vaccination status. Reports out of Serbia suggest he'll make a final decision on coming to Melbourne within the next few days. For a look ahead to more sport, let's head to Laura Spurway inside the MCG. Laura, it was a dream start for the Aussies.
Blake, a brilliant start to the Boxing Day test after a bold call from Pat Cummins. He decided to bowl first and it paid off, with the captain taking the first 3 wickets, while it was a debut to remember for Victorian Scott Boland, who claimed his first test wicket. And Paddy Mills shoots the Christmas lights out against LeBron James, breaking new records in the NBA. Blake, clearly a good day to be an Aussie named Patrick. I'll be back shortly to dissect all the action from here at the G.
Laura, we'll see you soon. It has been a deadly 24 hours on Victorian waters. Up next, critical advice for swimmers as lifesavers brace for a dangerous summer. Plus, the arson squad probes a suspicious fire in Melbourne's northeast. See how the rest of the world is celebrating Christmas, and later, how to turn your unwanted gifts into instant cash. A house in Melbourne's north has been destroyed by an inferno that tore through the property around 4 this morning. It's understood no one was home at the Mernda house at the time of the blaze, which caused significant damage. A crime scene has now been set up as police investigate the cause. Hopes are fading tonight in the search for a missing teenager feared drowned on the Murray River. It sparked an urgent warning from Victorian lifesavers bracing for a dangerous summer on the water.
On the banks of the Murray River, a desperate mother watches on, praying for signs of her son. Police divers and the SES searching for Jules Lananga. The 18-year-old was swimming with mates near Albury in what was supposed to be some Christmas Day fun. He got into trouble in the water and hasn't been seen since.
I can't think of anything, I cannot do anything because I'm still in shock.
More than 24 hours on, hope is fading, but friends are refusing to give up.
But I believe he's all right. I believe he is going to make it. That's why, because I still don't believe that he's gone just like that.
This is the 4th tragedy on our waters in less than 24 hours. A man's body was pulled from the river at a nature reserve in Melbourne's west yesterday. A 3-year-old drowned at Lake Macquarie.
Bystanders are affected. Other emergency services are affected, and our clinicians are people too. They're deeply affected by these incidents.
And at a dam near Bathurst, yet another family is fearing the worst. The number of drowning deaths last December was more than double the 10-year average. Authorities are concerned this summer could be even worse, blaming post-lockdown fatigue. Of the 61 tragedies, 39% drowned in a river, 33% at the beach.
An important reminder to make sure you're playing it safer around the water and make sure you don't become another one of those statistics.
Rochelle Brown, 7 News.
Millions around the world have celebrated Christmas under pandemic restrictions and isolation orders. Pope Francis used his annual message to encourage people to continue to come together after almost 2 years forced apart.
As the world grapples with a surge of Omicron cases, many tried to make Christmas feel as normal as possible, even from isolation. In the UK, all many Brits wanted for Christmas was a booster shot, as daily cases climbed to over 120,000.
I just thought that it would be quite quiet today.
In his annual Christmas message, Pope Francis prayed for an end to the pandemic, calling for vaccines and healthcare for all, and for people to support each other when COVID has forced so many apart.
Our capacity for social relationships is sorely tried. There is a growing tendency to withdraw, to do it all by ourselves, to stop making an effort.
President Joe Biden and the First Lady wished members of the Defence Force a Merry Christmas, but it was their new puppy who stole the show.
Well, that's Commander.
You could probably, there he is.
Needing a few lessons on White House protocol.
What you doing? Hey, that's not polite.
Midnight Mass in Bethlehem in person once again. Christmas markets reopened in France, while others opted for an icy plunge outside Berlin. While a masked-up Santa made from sand and over 5,000 red roses rested up on a beach in India, finally catching a break after the big day. Taylor Aiken, 7 News.
As many of us tuck into Christmas leftovers, we're being asked to think twice about the amount of food we buy. Food charity Oz Harvest estimates food waste increases by 30% over the festive period. And during the year, Australians throw out more than $36 billion of food. We've had cooler conditions for the first day of the Boxing Day test. Estelle Griepink, what a difference a day makes.
Well, Blake, Christmas brought us blue skies and sunshine, but today cloud cover returned, and that meant we enjoyed a pleasant top of 18 degrees, which felt warmer when the clouds cleared. Now, players are used to it being much warmer during the test. Melbourne has hit 40 degrees on 9 occasions between Boxing Day and December 30. But while hot weather is forecast for the rest of this week, it doesn't look like we'll pass 35 degrees this time round. And I'll have the week's summary forecast after sport. Blake?
Estelle, see you soon. Thieves have targeted Guide Dogs Victoria, stealing 5 crucial training vans for puppies. The details are next on 7 News. Plus, fireworks erupt inside a busy supermarket. And expert advice on turning unwanted Christmas gifts into cash. Thieves have targeted Guide Dogs Victoria in a Christmas night raid on their Kew headquarters. They smashed their way into the building and stole 5 vehicles worth more than $250,000.
In the middle of the night on Christmas, thieves rammed the back gate of a not-for-profit organisation looking for a quick steal.
Has a really devastating effect on our ability to deliver services to people who are blind or have low vision.
They smashed their way into the Guide Dogs Victoria headquarters, stealing 5 specialist vans.
People who have been waiting for a long time for guide dogs now will have to wait even longer.
The vehicles were fitted with $90,000 worth of equipment and have stopped 2-year-old Labradors Ari and Remney from continuing their vital work. Police say the offenders cut the gates to gain access to the fenced-off building.
These vans are all logoed up with guide dogs all over them, so they do stand out on the streets.
The Kew headquarters is also home to around 30 guide dogs, including 2 new litters of puppies. Thankfully, the thieves didn't go near the kennels when they broke in.
How do you live with yourself when you go and do a crime like this at this time of the year? We've been through such a devastating year as a whole state.
The organisation is now pleading with the public for any information to help them locate the vehicles so they can get on with their important work.
We urgently need these vans back to be able to continue our services.
Late today, police recovered 2 of the vans dumped close by in Kew. The hope now is that all vehicles can be returned. Kathleen O'Connor, 7 News.
Fireworks have exploded in the middle of a Russian supermarket. Around 500 shoppers were in the store when sparks started flying. Most shoppers ran for cover, except for this man. He wasn't bothered, still browsing as the sparks fly ahead of him. It's not known what sparked the fireworks stockpile. This next explosion was bizarrely intentional. A Finnish YouTuber has blown up his Tesla rather than having its battery replaced. After a month at the mechanics, he was told it needs a new power supply, costing more than $30,000. So instead of stumping up with the cash, he decided to blow the car away. Of course, the stunt was watched by millions online. Australians have wasted no time ridding themselves of unwanted gifts, with hundreds of Christmas Day presents already listed on internet marketplace sites. And for those left a little disappointed by what was under the tree, it might also be the place to get a bargain.
That perfect present may not have materialised under the Christmas tree this year. In fact, in the sobering reality of the post-festive season, the question is often asked, what do I do with this?
Some makeup that didn't quite suit my skin and some headphones that didn't fit into my little ears.
The booming second-hand market, now estimated to be worth $48 billion, marketplace Gumtree says now is the time to turn unwanted presents into cash.
Friends are the main culprits for giving unwanted gifts, followed by parents and work colleagues.
Gumtree's own research has found only 1 in 10 Australians have sold items on marketplaces, many more keeping presents they may not want.
With many saying those items are just sitting around their home collecting dust or being thrown out causing landfill.
Those unwanted gifts could amount to a small fortune.
Scrolled through some similar gifts. All up, it was around $300.
Gumtree says more than half of the Australian population will receive an unwanted gift.
With a total value of those unwanted Christmas gifts estimated at $574 million. That's up $2 million on last year.
I love the idea that somebody else is enjoying the gifts, and it's a great way to get a little bit of cash after all the Christmas spending.
Taylor Aiken, 7 News.
There are major delays on Melbourne roads, with holidaymakers want to brace for a summer construction blitz. Plus, liftoff as NASA's new $14 billion telescope heads into space, and the Golden Oldies, who have just set a new cricket world record. Some Melbourne drivers will need to allow extra travel time, with upgrades underway on the Westgate Bridge and Freeway. 3 of 5 outbound lanes are closed from 9 o'clock tonight until 6 a.m. on Tuesday, January 4. Commuters and holidaymakers heading to Melbourne's west and regional Victoria should use another route to avoid lengthy delays. Motorists travelling from east to west can detour through West Melbourne and Footscray using Footscray, Dynon or Ballarat roads. There are no inbound lane closures on the Westgate. Firefighters were called to the lodge in Canberra last night after a fire alarm went off. Emergency services arrived at the Prime Minister's residence around 10 o'clock. Scott Morrison wasn't there. He spent Christmas Day at Kirribilli with his family, but staff were still on site. Investigations later revealed it was a false alarm. NASA's $14 billion space telescope was blasted off during a special Christmas Day launch in South America. It's the largest and most powerful ever made and will hopefully help solve some of the mysteries of the cosmos.
From the Amazon,
Voyager, all systems are go.
To the edge of space.
And liftoff. Decollage, liftoff from a tropical rainforest to the edge of time itself. James Webb begins a voyage back to the birth of the universe.
This was a Christmas Day voyage to the stars like no other.
I say the world gave us this telescope, and we're handing it back to the world today. And we don't take that for granted.
NASA's $14 billion James Webb Space Telescope finally lifting off after decades of delays.
It's a time machine. It's going to take us back to the very beginnings of the universe. We are going to discover incredible things that we never imagined.
It took just 27 minutes for the infrared telescope to reach space.
So far, so good. Everything is nominal.
As it begins its 1.6 million kilometre journey.
Ironically enough, as we marvel on this view from the upper stage camera, this will be humanity's last view of the James Webb Space Telescope.
The Webb telescope will slowly unravel its mirror and sun shield, which is as big as a tennis court, and then it will begin to scan the cosmos for a glimpse of the first stars to light up the universe.
It's looking both at exoplanets but also at specific cosmic targets that we think will really reveal new science. So it will be kind of a potpourri of science.
Which could change how we understand the origins of our universe and beyond. Matthew Carstunen, 7 News.
Australia's most experienced and fanatical cricketers are claiming a world record, the oldest game of cricket ever. 2 teams hit the pitch in Melbourne with a combined age of almost 2,000 years.
World record Warriors of the Willow.
The aim is to set a world record for the oldest age cricket game.
The average player age on both teams over 80. Age shall not weary their passion.
I love it. I just love playing cricket.
Come on, fellas, in the field, right on your toes.
They would eat a cricket ball. They love the game.
The oldest, 84-year-old retired teacher, Terry Dunn.
Life's about enjoying yourself, and that's what I'm trying to do.
The world record, the highlight of 75 years of competitive cricket. Here, a unique fan club, Terry's wife, his daughters, grandchildren and his great-grandson. Wife Pam has been watching Terry play.
Since I was 17 and now I'm 82. I get very nervous. I'm glad that he's doing well because, you know, he's older now and, yeah, he's still got it.
How did it feel out there today?
Magnificent. I loved every minute.
Suck 'em in.
We still get white line fever. We're all still 21 in our head when we go out and play.
80-year-old Dave Tomlinson furious when he goes out. Even after all these years, you still get annoyed.
Yes!
But there is a serious side. All this boosts mental health in the devastating COVID era.
People keep saying, oh, you're not 80. No, you're only 60. That gives me a buzz.
But still...
I'm a bit stuffed.
How do you pull up?
Sore. Takes a couple of days to get over it.
Terry falls to a blinder, but then a rare highlight for a cricketer. An ovation from his great-grandson.
You think you're Superman, you can do anything. But I'm not Superman, I can assure you that.
Nick McCallum, 7 News.
All right, let's return to the MCG for sport with Laura Spillway. Laura, Australia has enjoyed a Boxing Day feast.
Well, Blake, it's been an Ashes shambles for England. They were no match for the ruthless Aussies as Captain Cummins returned to spearhead the attack on a dream debut for Victorian Scott Boland. Paddy Mills produces one of his best performances yet with a Christmas Day record in the NBA. United strikes gold against the Sydney Kings and a rough start in the Sydney Hobart. Welcome back to the MCG, where it's been a day of domination from Australia, bowling England out for just 185. Pat Cummins marked his return with 3 wickets, while an injured Marcus Harris survived until stumps. The Aussies won for 61.
England and Australia, Boxing Day. 70,000 returned to cricket's cathedral, the mighty MCG. Josh Hazlewood presented Scott Boland's baggy green. What a family photo for the 32-year-old paceman. Pat Cummins returned, won the toss and naturally sent England in.
Yeah, it feels like a bowling day. There's some good grass coverage.
Every day's a bowling day for Paddy Perfect. A duck for Hamid in Cummins' first over. In for Burns, Zach Crawley made 12. Beating his average of 11 for the year. And right on lunch, Milan went for 14.
Edge, and this time it carries.
The world's best bowler vindicated his call at the toss. Joe Root looked so good for 50.
It's his 9th half-century in tests in this country.
But the elusive century down under has become a curse.
Edge,
The replay will cost the English skipper a lot of sleep.
He knows.
That reunited Bairstow and Stokes, a pair with a 399 test stand.
Talk about a big shot coming.
Runs and red hair flowing, something to chew on for the Aussies.
Whoops, a daisy.
Till Cameron Green intervened.
Flicked straight to point. Safe hands of Lyon.
Big Ben, there's a new all-rounder in town. Right on tee, Joss Buttler charged at Lyon. All the talk of a fight back became 6 for 128.
Can you believe that?
A great moment after tee.
Hunting and getting his first test wicket.
The requisite treatment for Boland from teammates and fellow Victorians. England's capitulation was weak, even by their standards. Bairstow, Leach, Robinson gone, all out for 185.
Boland underneath it, should take it, and he does.
No one better than David Warner to hammer in the nails.
It's rubbish, JB. It's too short.
He'd flown to 38.
Well held.
But Warner's departure and Marcus Harris's blow will do little to raise English spirits. Matt Carmichael, 7 News.
And Mel McLaughlin caught up with Seven commentator Trent Copeland to dissect the day's play.
Seven cricket commentator Trent Copeland joins me now. Copes, Pat Cummins, the captain, forced to sit out in Adelaide, and what a confident return. Wins a toss, elects to bowl and does so much damage instantly.
Yeah, straight away. The first time Australia won the toss in Australian conditions and bowled first since 2013. So that in itself was a bold move. But how good is he? He comes straight back into the team, 3 wickets in the first session, and broke the back of England to start with, didn't he?
Yeah, so much damage early on. Okay, what about England? I know I'm not alone in saying, all jokes aside, we really wanted them to put up a fight and they haven't.
Yeah, they really haven't. I mean, I must say from a biased Australian's point of view, it was great to watch on Boxing Day. A great spectacle. The crowd here got really behind Scotty Boland on debut, which was fantastic. But I agree with you. England weren't good enough with the new ball as well tonight. They need to aim up tomorrow.
Yeah, tomorrow, what are you expecting? Australia to battle day or what?
Oh, well, hopefully Marcus Harris's finger is okay, first and foremost. He copped a blow tonight. If that's broken, then we might see someone else come into bat early. But Australia need to go big if they're going to drive the game from here, and I'm pretty confident they will.
The predicted drama arrived early for one of the big contenders of the Sydney Hobart. David Witt's Supermaxi Scallywag won the race out of the harbour, but just out of the heads, the 100-footer suffered a sail fitting problem as brave crewmen worked frantically to fix it while getting hammered by waves. It allowed Christian Beck's Law Connect to take the lead, but tonight they're sailing into a southerly storm. A short time ago, they'd reached Jarvis Bay with Blackjack and Scallywag trying to play catch-up. There are calls for Paddy Mills to be named an NBA All-Star this season. The Aussie sensation put on a Christmas show against the Lakers with a career-high 34 points.
In his first Christmas Day game, Paddy Mills came bearing plenty of gifts.
Mills catches, fires and connects. The three-pointer for Paddy Mills. What a season he's having.
The real king became the all-time Christmas scoring leader.
James with the finish and the foul.
But Paddy was chasing records of his own, shooting the lights out against LeBron and the Lakers on their home court.
Mills for three, puts it in. Paddy Mills with a season-high 31.
A total of 8 from beyond the arc, the most of anyone on Christmas Day.
Mills for three, it's good. Paddy Mills does it again.
His 34 points equaling a career high as the Nets cashed in with a 122-115 win.
Production-wise, playing for my country is probably, where I tend to play the best as well.
Giannis Antetokounmpo returned from 5 games out due to COVID protocols.
Giannis spinning, fall away, got it! Giannis with 30!
The Bucks star had 36 against the Celtics and this game-winning block in the final 10 seconds.
Oh, Giannis with the block as Williams went for the dunk!
Steph Curry was in a festive mood, a 4th straight game with 30-plus points helping the Warriors to a 116-107 win over Phoenix.
Curry for three, touchdown! Oh, goodness!
Merry Christmas, hope y'all remember the reason for the season, and we out.
Back home, Chris Goulding was just as hot for Melbourne United against the Kings.
Oh my goodness, Chris Goulding has just hit the switch and is 3 for 3 in his last 3-point field goal attempts.
Matthew Dellavedova linking up with the sharpshooter to bury Sydney.
You can't leave a man who shoots the ball as well as that as open as what he just was.
He finished with 20 in the 82-68 point win. Tim Hipsley, 7 News.
Well, Blake, it's been a fantastic day for the Aussies here. You can catch all the Day 2 action, of course, right here on Channel 7, coverage starting from 9:30.
All right, Laura Spurway at what looks like a pretty chilly MCG, but that could be about to change. Estelle Grieping is here with the forecast. Estelle, how long is this cloud hanging around?
Well, Blake, sunshine is on the way, and that's as we head into a very hot week. I'll have the details next. Hello again. We've had a cool and cloudy day for Boxing Day. Perfect weather for relaxing on the couch and recovering from those Christmas feasts. But while we reached a top of 18 today, that'll actually be our coolest day of the week. Warmer weather is on the way, so the beach won't look like this for much longer. The sky was also gloomy in Wheelers Hill. It almost reached 19 there. Across the state, temperatures were varied with 31 in Yarrawonga and 19 in Ballarat. The south of the state felt cool and breezy, South Gippsland catching some drizzly rain. Taking a look at the satellite, and a low pressure trough over New South Wales continues to extend across our northeast. It'll move west on Tuesday and then over our northwest on Wednesday and Thursday. That's when we're expecting to really see the mercury rise. The heat increases on Thursday when we hit 30 degrees and peaking just in time for New Year's Eve and New Year's Day. Around the nation tomorrow, and Sydney's in for a shower or two. Brisbane's also in for rain, but Adelaide looks lovely with lots of sunshine, and that's while Perth swelters through a 40-degree day. To Victoria, and will be mild and cloudy in the south and warm and sunny in the north. Echuca will hit 19. Closer in, and there'll be a mix of sun and cloud over our suburbs. Winds will become strong in the late morning and afternoon. In the city, from a low of 13, we'll reach a top of 23. It'll be partly cloudy and breezy later on. For the rest of the week, we're looking warm in the sunshine after some morning fog. We're 24 and mostly sunny on Tuesday and 25 and sunny on Wednesday. We jump into the 30s on Thursday with another sunny day, and the temperature keeps climbing for New Year's Eve, a top of 34. And then to bring in 2022, we're in for a very hot 36. But some cloud cover should help us on Sunday, bringing a little relief from the heat. But tomorrow, after some morning cloud, the sun returns, and it only gets hotter as our week progresses. So milder weather could be welcome. And from a low of 13, we'll reach a lovely top of 23. Blake?
Into the 30s later in the week. Keep it coming, Estelle. Thank you. That is all from 7 News. Thanks for making us part of your Boxing Day. Stay with us. The Big Bash is up next. Good night.